Well, well, what happened? Hello, good to see you guys again. Well, I'll tell you what happened. You probably missed me for, I think, maybe 2 days. What happened was my internet connections were not very good. We had some internet issues, and as a result of that, I was not able to upload the last video. I think was uploaded, I believe. I don't know if it was today is Monday, but I think it wasn't uploaded until I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday. I'm not really sure. We had some issues, some internet issues. Anyways, so my last video was uploaded, and now so basically, I think we skipped 2 days, not because I wanted to, but because we had internet issues. Anyways, we're back. So that's what's going on, was going on. So not because I didn't want to be here. It was because it was out of my control. Okay. So, anywhoosies, here we are. So, we've got a few more drawings to do on this scene that need color. So, yeah, looks like we've got, I think, another 8 drawings. We probably would have been finished last week, but alas, it was not to be. All right, let's see. Well, it looks like I need to trace these. Okay. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, this is Leonard Robinson speaking to you. Hi. And I am working on a little short film. And this is a scene from right here. And in these videos, what I do is I show you what I'm doing in real time. And the reason for showing it to you in real time is because I am an online teacher. I teach animation classes, among other things. And I found that it's a lot easier to follow someone showing you or giving you an example of something if they do it in real time. I've seen a few time lapse videos, and while I'm sure they probably do give you everything you need to know, to be able to decipher them, I think is a little bit difficult. So I have chosen to literally show you in real time. This animation was done in Rough Animator. Rough Animator is a great program to work at if you would like to get it. It is a $10 program that you buy outright. You can get the desktop version and you can do your animation, you can clean it up, you can paint it. It has some limited camera moves that are built into the software. There's lots of little things and they're constantly upgrading it. The software was written by an animator, I believe. The person who created it is an animator. So it's pretty user friendly for those of you like me who are not big tech people, but you want to do some animation. So this is a good program to work in. Um, and you can, once you've got your scenes animated, you could edit them in other softwares. And in this on these tutorials, I do that as well. I've actually shown you in the past some of the editing that I've done. I use an editing software called Movavi Video Editor, and great program to do your editing, which you can also buy that editing program outright. I would suggest anyone who's making their own film, whether it be animated or live action, buy purchase your software. Renting and subscribing software is pretty expensive, and at the end of the day, it really isn't to your advantage. Sadly, of course, some of the best software only makes themselves available through subscriptions, but I personally think it's a little bit of a ripoff for someone who is an independent filmmaker. It's just not practical. If you're a studio and they want to, have a lot of people working on something, I guess that works out for the studio as a write-off and all that stuff. But for an individual who's making their own film, I don't see that as a sensible way to work. You need software that you can own outright because Making your film is already going to be time consuming enough. The last thing you need is an extra expense added on top of that. All right, so anyways, so I'm going to go back to the full size on this. So I'll take this from 100% to filling the window, and then we'll go right and trace Nora. So I'll use a solid line on the brush feature here. When I touch this brush, I get a solid, an airbrush, and a sketchy brush. So I'm using the solid brush, black, and then I'm just going to go in here and start cleaning up this line. Managing multiple credit cards can feel like you have 50 apps on switching apps. Remember which card earns what? Points, miles, cashback. There we go. There we go. There Whoops. Wrong color. Hmm. There's a function called draws behind, and I use that to put lines behind lines or colors behind colors. And I'm using that a lot because a lot of the time the colors do intersect one another. And depending on where I want a color to go, I may put the color on top of a line or I may put it underneath of a line. So it just depends on what seems like would look better to me. But Rough Animator has that function. Now here in the bottom corner you can see I can pick a line tool here, and I'm going to use that for the block. The color line is working underneath, which doesn't necessarily make sense for some of this line. Some parts of the line work better underneath the color, and some parts of the line work better on top. So I can switch that here. So like here where her line, her fingers, and the color of her jumper probably should be on top, so that I can switch it, you see. I guess you just have to make a decision based on what you think you need at the time. It doesn't really occur to you until you're doing it. you know, which way you want to go with it. Oops. Now I have to remember to go back to the hand-drawn line, which is the wavy one. Okay. Oops. Oops. So many things to remember. There we go. Okay. All right, we got Nora done, so we can go ahead and paint her. When you put the colors in, sometimes they don't fill up every area, so I'll have to sometimes go back over and fill in the little areas that the color didn't fill in. I have to look very carefully to make sure that the color is filling in the entire area. When you start getting down to little areas of color, that's where a lot of times it doesn't fill. So you have to go back and do it by hand. Oh yeah, see here, um, I have to do the letter. I had forgotten about that. Okay. All right, then. All right, then let's see. All right, so we got red on this side. Yellow here, and I believe green. Let's check that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, now we'll go ahead and do Lenny, since he's on the same layer she is. So, black line on the hair. Go. There we go. Yeah. The multiple color lines on a character does look really good when it's moving, but it is a kind of a pain a little bit to have to ink it and paint it. It's more work, obviously, but it looks better. Walt Disney was known to appreciate the ink line was something that he really liked. Apparently, he was not a big fan of the Xerox lines that they were doing later on. It was said that it was not one of his favorite looks. They did it on when they first. I guess it was the first full feature that they did that with was 101 Dalmatians, which was great, and it made sense to use it for that film because that film called for the style to be a lot more graphic, and I think that was the right choice. But it became a staple. It became that was the way they started to do all of their films was using the Xerox process, and it was primarily because it was faster, and you know They didn't have to ink the drawings. They still had to paint everything, but it was, I guess, a lot faster and more, save them money and everything. So, but I guess Walt Disney was not a big fan of it. That's what I always heard. And I can't say I blame him. The old ink and paint style, while it was much more cumbersome, certainly looked better. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, anytime you pick something that's going to take more time and work, it's always going to probably look better. It just makes perfect sense. It would. You're putting in the love. Putting in the love. Well, that's what it takes, if you gotta give it more effort, what are you doing? You're giving it more love, right? Yeah. I don't know. The end justifies the means, I guess. All right, so color in the hair. Lenny's skin color. As far I think it's red, isn't it? Yeah. Shirt. Uh, Jumper. I think that's right. Yeah. Block. Blue on the top there. There we go. How we doing time-wise? Oh, might be able to get another one in here. Let's see. Okay, so yeah. Well, let's pull that out. When we're all done with this, we'll be able to turn off the rough layer that we're tracing. And we'll get that final full color look. Let's see. So on to the next one. Let's see. We still got to trace her because she's moving a little bit. All right, so black on the hair. Let's go in there. Any type of thing when you're in this stage of production, um, like I had mentioned, I think on earlier videos that this would be the place where I might say turn on some classical music or something like that, or listen to an audio book or something, because if I'm just tracing and painting, you know it doesn't require really strong concentration to get it right. So you can use this stage of production is good if you're using doing using you listening to music or something like that. This is a good stage for that. That doesn't mean you have to do it that way, but just saying that it is a good. I guess it helps the time to go by quicker. Definitely, yeah. Definitely helps the time to go by quicker. There we go. Right. And you'll notice now, like see with the See, you can see that my rough is pretty rough. So, obviously, if I wasn't the person inking this, there's some little things in here that I might not know to do. But since you're making your own film and you're likely going to be inking your own work, you would be able to know, like, oh, okay, that line's missing. I need to fill this in or that. So there's the advantage of you doing it yourself. In a production line system, this is why um, with each stage, the animator, with each stage, you have to kind of finish things off, clean things up, whatever, because you got to make sure that the next person completely understands, what they have to do. So if something is incomplete, then they're not going to know, right? So this is where you'd have to, um, you know, say clean up something completely, because it's not complete, but someone following you wouldn't know that. So that's where you'd have to go in there and clean something up, right? But yeah, but if you're doing it yourself, then you don't have to do that. So let's see here. All right. And, lines behind, lines in front. That's another one that, you know, you might not know. The person after you, the person that was, say, cleaning up your stuff or painting your stuff, if you were working that way, wouldn't know unless you told them, right? So, yeah. So, see, then you gotta explain that. Or you have to make the drawing clean enough so that the person that's following you will know, oh, okay, I gotta, you know, this has got to be fixed, that's got to be fixed, whatever, you know, or they clean it up so that you don't make a mistake. Yeah. So the production line system is designed uh, the way it is to expedite problems and foresee errors so that those errors don't happen. Right? Let's see here. Black hair. Oh, right. Yeah. Jumper. Oh, right. I think this is right. Let me see if I guess correctly. Red, yellow, green, I think. See if I'm right. I'm right. Yay. Okay. Where are we? Oh, we're 23 minutes. All right, well, we'll stop here then. All right, folks. Okay, well, hey, hopefully I won't have another technical thing, but if I do, I'll let you know about it. All right. Hey, have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. And don't forget, Jesus is Lord.